The real estate market is on fire right now. Everything's flying off the shelves. There are a lot of buyers, but not enough inventory. This leaves newbies afraid to get into the industry that has produced 90% of its millionaires. But I'm here to tell you there's a way to flip properties with little to no money, and you don't even need a real estate license to do so. If you follow to the end of this video, I'll show you guys step by step on how to wholesale real estate. And no, I'm not talking about Sam's Club or your Costco. I'm talking about wholesaling real estate. So stick to the end of this video so you can learn how to wholesale real estate. But before I show you guys how to wholesale real estate, you guys won't be able to wholesale real estate if you don't smash that like button. What is wholesaling? In real estate, wholesaling, a wholesaler contracts a home with a seller, then finds an interested party to buy it. The wholesaler contracts the home with a buyer at a higher price than with the seller and keeps the difference as profit. Real estate wholesalers generally find and contract distressed properties. There are two different methods that you can use when wholesaling real estate. The most commonly used method is going to be assignment of contract. You're getting the property under contract from the seller, and then you're assigning that contract to an end buyer for a fee. This is the most commonly used method because you don't have to take ownership of the property. The downside of using this method is both parties are going to see exactly how much you make as the wholesaler versus a double close. You sign a contract with the initial seller and you take ownership of that property, which means you have to pay the closing costs. Then you would sign another contract with the end buyer and pay the closing costs on that deal as well. The benefit of this is both parties won't see exactly how much you're making in the deal. So you need to decide whether the assignment of contract or the double close. Me personally, I suggest you go with the assignment of contract first and foremost because you're not paying closing costs. Be upfront with the seller as well as the buyer. Let them know you're the middleman and you're connecting both parties and you're getting a fee for doing so. In the most simplest form, you're flipping papers and not properties. There are a bunch of different ways, techniques, steps, and a bunch of different ways you can wholesale real estate. But I'm going to show you guys the most popular 6 steps on how you can wholesale real estate. Number 1 is to find a great deal from a motivated seller. Number 2, negotiate a great price that makes financial sense to both parties. Number 3, sign a purchase and sell agreement with the seller. Number 4, find a cash buyer, which is an investor or a house flipper. Number 5, legally connect the cash buyer to the motivated seller. And number 6, collect the difference in price between what the seller contract is for and what the cash buyer will pay. So here's an example of a wholesale deal. So let's say I have a cousin named Joe who has a property. He has this property that needs a ton of work and he doesn't have the money to fix this property and he needs to sell this property fast. So when looking at this property, we determine that ARV, which means the after repair value of this property, is $100,000. So fixed up, this property can sell for $100,000. But when looking at this property, we need to use the 70% rule, which means we need to buy this property at 70% of its after repair value. So if we take the 70% of the ARV of this property, we now know it's $70,000. So when walking through this property, we notice that this property needs $20,000 worth of repairs. So now we're at $50,000. So if an investor finds this property, chances are they're going to get this property at $50,000. But we as the wholesaler need to make money as well because we're connecting the seller as well as the end buyer to this property. So our fee is $10,000. So we take that $50,000 and we subtract $10,000, which is our fee from that property, and it's $40,000. So now we know $40,000 is the maximum we can offer this seller for this property. But we need a little bit of wiggle room. So we're going to offer 10 to 15% lower than the maximum allowable offer. So that's going to be between $34,000 to $37,000. So we did a little bit of negotiation with Joe and we got this property under contract for $38,000. So now we know we need to sell this contract to a cash buyer for $50,000, bringing us in a profit of $12,000. The hardest thing when starting out wholesaling properties is finding great deals and motivated sellers. When finding a great deal, you need to look for properties that have long grass, they're banded up, just properties that are distressed and need a lot of repair. Some great marketing techniques to find properties to wholesale is driving for dollars. It's going to be one of the most common and cheapest ways to find properties to wholesale. You drive around your local neighborhood and finding distressed properties, writing down all of the addresses to those properties and sending out mail to the owners of their properties, letting them know that you want to buy their property. Then another common way is bandit signs and billboards. I'm sure you've seen a sign that says "We buy houses" on the side of the road, or even a billboard, a big old yellow billboard that says "We buy ugly houses." Those are great ways to find properties to wholesale as well. Also, another great way is for sale by owner. Drive around your local neighborhood and look for signs that say "For sale by owner." chances are the owner of that property doesn't want to deal with real estate agents and paying those fees. So maybe you can get that property under contract for a great price and resell it for a profit. They're happy, you're happy, and then the end buyer's happy as well. Then lastly, you have your website as well as YouTube. You can use both of those platforms to find properties to wholesale. So now that one of your marketing techniques has worked out, you've gotten a call and someone wants you to buy their property. So first things first, you need to get one or more real estate agents in your corner. The reasoning for getting real estate agents in your corner is because they can run comps on that property. Running comps means finding properties that have sold in that area that are comparable to the property you're looking at. When doing that, you can determine the ARV of the property you're going to be looking at. First things first, you need to build a relationship with a real estate agent. The reasoning for building a relationship with a real estate agent is because they can run the comps on the property you're looking at. Running the comps mean finding properties that have sold recently in that area that are comparable to the property you're looking at. When doing that, that's going to give you the ARV, which is the after repair value of the property you're looking at. So now that we have the ARV for this property, now it's time to walk this property and crunch the numbers and figure out the estimated rehab costs for this property. When starting off with no experience, of course you're not going to know how much it's going to cost to rehab each property. My suggestion when starting off is pay a contractor to walk with you through a couple of properties so that you get a great sense of how much it's going to cost to estimate these properties. So now that you have the ARV as well as the estimated rehab costs, now you can go to the table and write an offer for the seller. Remember, when writing an offer to the seller, you need to take account of the 70% rule, the estimated rehab costs, as well as your wholesale fee. Now that you have a number in mind, now it's time to sign a contract with the seller. An important thing to mention in the contract is that you or a partner will be buying this property. To comfort the seller, you can let them know, hey, if my business partner buys this property, I will be getting a small fee for finding that property for them. Just let them know, be upfront with them so there are no surprises. Now that you have this property under contract, and if you've done all of your due diligence and you found a great deal, the easiest part is finding a cash buyer. Some different ways to finding cash buyers are courthouse auctions, hard money lenders, and then also you can Google cash buyers in your area. When you have a great deal, it's not gonna be hard to find a cash buyer to get that deal from you. Last but not least, for all of your hard work to pay off, is to close the deal. But before you close the deal, you need a place to close the deal, meaning you need to find a wholesale friendly title company. You need to Google, look on real estate groups, wholesale groups, or just find someone in your area who does wholesaling that recommends a title company that deals with assignment of contract as well as double closing. Once you found the title company, it's time to connect the dots, get those contracts signed, and collect your hard-earned money and repeat the process. But before you guys go, some great apps to use when starting off for wholesaling: Deal Machine, Facebook for ads, CallRail. Last but not least is Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets is going to be great because you can find mentors, ask questions, do meetups. It's just a great place to network with people. Wholesaling real estate sounds a lot easier said than done. It takes a lot of dedication, hard work, plus patience, like the great Nipsey Hussle said. You need to invest in yourself and your business. Invest in mentors, invest in courses, reach out to others who are in your field, and don't be afraid to take that leap. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button. Comment below if you enjoyed the video. Comment below if you have any video suggestions, any comments, concerns. Just comment below. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your day is going. Comment below anything, honestly. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you guys so much.
You bored over there?
A little bit.
Some kind of work.
Yeah, they started it, they just not finished.
There's a basement in this one?
I don't know if this one does.
Yeah, the stairs are right there.
Oh, right here, then, yeah.
Yeah.
Just add it back. It's not bad.
That's a nice size van.
Definitely.
It's a decent size room
Yeah.
for a one bedroom.
Yeah, it is, and a good sized bedroom too.
Do you invest at all?
We just sold our rental property.
Oh, really?
It was in Berkeley. We sold it at the end of last